Regarding discussions this week, we only have one discussion. Yay! And that discussion is going to be focused on giving and receiving feedback. So for your initial message, you're going to select an aspect of your paper that you would like to receive feedback on. And you're going to basically, in general terms, describe the ways in which you are fulfilling design recommendations from course literature. And then you're going to provide or ask specific questions that you would like feedback on. So then for your responses, you're going to be responding to 3 classmates and providing feedback. And what you want to do is you want to address their questions. So if they're doing a great job, if they're not doing such a great job in following the recommendations from literature, then you're going to say, hey, so your navigation is not as Horton recommends in terms of blah blah blah, and so one way that you could do to improve this is to do blah blah blah. And now, in the case that they are doing a phenomenal job following the recommendations, it's always good to highlight those aspects in which they are particularly being very true to what Horton and the other authors in our course literature recommend. So in either case, base either your recommendations or your praise on course literature. I wanted to say that I'm very, very pleased with the way that you guys are providing feedback to each other. I'm very proud of the work that you're doing in the discussion forum, providing very high-level feedback and not just, overall generic feedback. You're doing a wonderful job, and I'm sure your students are going to love this. No, this is great reinforcement, but the kind of targeted feedback that you're providing, I'm very pleased with it. You're really basing your recommendations on Horton and other class readings, and this actually helps. And I want to reassure you, those of you who have told me that you sometimes don't feel very comfortable providing feedback because obviously you don't want to make the other person feel bad in any way, but when you provide feedback that is based on the readings, then you have some strong support for what you're saying, and so you shouldn't worry. And your feedback is going to come out as an eye-opener. If you don't provide feedback that's based on recommendations from literature, it can come across as this is my preference and I want to force you to follow it, or this is how I like things. No, we're really providing feedback because we're noticing that maybe you're not following the recommendations. So if you're giving the feedback, know that you're strengthening your recommendation by basing your recommendations on best practices. If you're receiving the feedback, know that it's being provided with the best interest, your best interest in mind. And of course, in the end, you have the liberty not to implement everything that you're provided because you're the designer and you're the one who's considering the affordances and the constraints of the environment that you have and the situation that you have. So good job so far. Just as Horton says, keep an open mind about giving and receiving feedback. You're exhibiting a high level of thinking as you are dissecting and analyzing your classmates' posts and looking at them through the lens of literature. You're doing an awesome work there, so I commend you for that. For the deadlines, we have our initial message due on Wednesday, February the 11th, and the replies are due Sunday, February the 15th. All messages should be in by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on the deadline.